to the first ever industry interviews recap show with your host, Tiago Grilo. In this show, we're going to recap the top moments of the industry interviews held by the careers team at FPS. The first ever industry interviews were held 2 weeks ago, and today I'm going to recap them for you and highlight the top moments so you can take away something from this. And our guests for this week's show were Atif Mahmoud, CEO of Teacherly, Tiago Grilo, Senior Project Lead at the Dubai Future Foundation, and Wissam Kadi, Global Partnerships Director at SAP NextGen. Before going on into the key topics of this show, I wanted to first thank and recognize the people who joined me on this interview. So it was Christopher Hugh Kelly, Aisha Algarer, Ryan Thomas, Alexandra Andraus, and Sana. Also a big shout out to Mr. Najjar and Ms. Dickerson for making this happen. The first area of focus I'm going to talk about is merging the education world with the business world. So Atif Mahmoud, he's the CEO of Teacherly, and as Atif said, working with young people is a passion. This phrase defines how we in the 21st century are adapting to the world we are living in, where young students from year 7 to year 13, such as the ones who are involved in this interview, are now engaging in more business and corporate and just the overall business world. They're engaging more in it. And schools like ours at FPS and in Dubai are really involving students with this process in order to give them that extra step so they can be even more prepared for what's to come in the future. So Atif is a CEO and founder of Teacherly. And as he put it, teachers are very different creatures to normal humans. So his platform allows teachers to be more organized and to gather resources in order to deliver their lessons better. So as you can see, Atif started out as a teacher in school, but he had an idea that he thought he could impact different teachers around the world. So now, after 4 years of Teacherly, he is in the UK and in the Middle East helping teachers through his program online, where they have access to different resources, different help, and it's all to facilitate teachers' work. Because with him being a teacher, he had this inside knowledge of how teachers work, which wouldn't have been implemented otherwise if it was someone who hadn't had that experience. So what you can get from this is, even if you don't have the right job right now, or you don't know what you want to do, all you need is an idea, a good idea, and develop it and see where it takes you. Because you might end up like Atif, where he has an amazing idea and product and is now in the UK and Middle East and expanding. Our next area of focus is our ever-changing world. The world we live in is constantly changing, and we as humans need to be able to adapt to it. Because if we're not able to adapt to the changes that the world faces us with, we will never be able to evolve. And in order to be successful in who you want to be, you need to evolve with the surroundings you have. Well, as Wissam put it, he said, adapting to the new normal. This is crucial to the world we live in today. Because as I said, if we can't adapt, we can't evolve. If we can't evolve, we can't be our best potential. So you have to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations in order to unlock, like in a game, unlock those secret skills that you have that you didn't know you have. So you really have to put yourself out there in order to become your true self. Another thing Wissam mentioned was empathy and adaptations will be needed, as will a long-term vision. So what Wissam means with this is, in the world we live in today is not the world your parents, your older brother, sister, your grandparents lived in. Your world is very much different, and the skills that are sought after for you are much different. Nowadays, Skills such as empathy, networking, how you work together is more vital than ever, because nowadays we as humans are a lot more open and we all have something to say, which in today's day and age is very important. So having these skills means you can work cohesively with a variety and diverse group of people, which is what big companies are looking for nowadays. The last thing Wissam said was prioritize your physical and mental well-being. As the head of the Happiness and Wellbeing Council at FPS, I support this 110%. Physical and mental well-being is like the foundation of a house, and the house is you. If you don't have a steady, sturdy foundation, you can build up from there. So if you don't have your physical and mental well-being in check, you can grow into your full potential. So you always need to prioritize you first so you can be able to grow. Our next area of focus is guidance for success. These are some experiences our guests have had during their years in their various different careers. Something Wissam said was, don't work until you break. I can relate to this 100%. As someone who was doing their A-levels, who did their GCSEs, to be honest, I reached that breaking point a few times. And what Wissam is trying to say here is you need to check yourself to see how much you can really do and how much of that is really effective. So if you work, but half of it isn't effective, then enjoy that half. Don't overwork yourself to reach that breaking point. Because the more you break, imagine it's an object. If you keep constantly breaking that object, eventually it's going to be harder and harder to fix it. So if you can avoid that breaking point, you will see that you will become stronger and you will become more resilient. However, this is not to say that if you reach your breaking point, it's done. No, there is always a way up. So when you reach your breaking point, look for help. Look at what's around you, look at the opportunities around you, and realize the potential you have. Our next area of focus will be starting and leading business. So majority of our guests are entrepreneurs and they've actually been through this process. So these are some tips they've shared. One overall tip that all our guests said were build a strong team, as this will be a massive success factor. Again, if we use the house as a metaphor, imagine your business is the house. You need that steady foundation, and that steady foundation is your team. If you don't have a team who you can work efficiently and cohesively with, who you can throw off ideas and you can work well with, your foundation won't be sturdy and you can't build your business up from there. So having a team that you trust and you know you can work well with is vital for the success and the future opportunities your business has. Something that Wissam said specifically was to find a support network. Now, this can be your parents, this can be your friends, this can be your colleagues. But in terms of the business industry, is knowing who you can talk to in times of opportunities. So when you have an opportunity, but you don't have the right resources, you need to have networks throughout the business industry who you can trust. So when the opportunity comes about, you can contact them and you will work side by side to make that opportunity a reality. So what Wissam said really has two meanings. So that was the first meaning. The second meaning is the business and the school life and just our human life in general on earth can get very stressful. And if you don't have the right support network to help you along the way through your ups and downs, you won't reach your maximum potential. And this is what life is about, reaching your maximum potential. Now, something that Karen said was entrepreneurs drive innovation. So what this means is risk takers innovators, collaborators, team workers. These skills within a person are who drive innovation in our world. So without these key skills, innovation wouldn't be where it is today. People wouldn't have taken risks to develop a product that we as humans didn't even know we needed, but now is a part of our daily lives. So we really need to focus on those key skills in order to push innovation to its maximum potential. And the final thing all our guests mentioned was sustainability. If nowadays sustainability has been an issue that has been talked about over and over again, and I'm glad it has, because there were so many years that it wasn't talked about, and it really impacted us on Earth. So if you aren't a business that's sustainably conscious about the work that you do and that are not looking to be sustainable, it can really impact your growth, because people nowadays are looking for sustainable businesses who they can support. And it's not only about the eco-friendly part of sustainability, it's also making sure your business is effective. If you have a team who can't work together, this isn't sustainable to the growth of the business. So you really have to make sure all your products, all your team members, your building, your networks, they're all sustainable and long term. Because this will really decipher if you are a business that will fail in 5 years, or if you're a business that's here to stay and to make a statement. Our next area of focus will be top skills that our guests are giving everyone in order to be their maximum potential. So first I'm going to read them all out. Communication, perseverance, collaboration and networking, courage, problem solving, and resilience. Now I'm going to go through each one and explain a little bit about them. Communication. This is the universal number one skill. Effective communication is key to success of anything. Your social life, your work life, your friendships, communication is really essential. Because if you can't communicate well, then your ideas aren't explained well. And if your ideas aren't explained well, your overall vision won't be what you want it to be, as you have some parts missing in that communication. Perseverance. Perseverance, again, is key. To gain perseverance, you have to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations, as I mentioned before. And for me, for example, I never thought when I was in year 7, for example, I never thought I would be head boy. It's something that I thought I would never have the capacity to do. But putting myself in uncomfortable situations, such as moving schools, or getting in the drama club and being in the new show, or choosing a class that my friends weren't in so I could meet new people, putting yourself in these uncomfortable situations is what gives you that overall boost to help you throughout life. And without it, I don't think I would have had the courage or the resilience to be who I am today. The third skill is collaboration and networking. Again, crucial in the business world to know your contacts and to know who you can rely on, but not only in the business world, but only in your real world. Because you have to really decipher who you can work well with and who you can rely on, and really know the two well. Because if not, you won't be as effective on work you produce as you could be. So again, all these skills that I'm mentioning, you learn from putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. So for example, in networking, if you go to a friend's house or a party or anything really where there's a group of people, you will be able to network, because networking is meeting new people and interacting with them and sustaining that relationship. So that is key to life, not just in the business world. Our last three are courage, problem solving, and resilience. These three skills are skills that are actually taught to you in your math, English, science, and all your other subjects in school, but you just don't realize them. Because when you're inside, you think, oh, when will I ever need to know the atomic relativity of a particle? But the way you work out the answer, and the way you work towards the answer, is how you gain those problem-solving skills in any situation. So you have to really focus on that, and then focus on the actual learning you're doing. And then you'll realize what school actually means to you and what you can take away from each subject. And with courage and resilience, they go side by side, because you need the courage to be resilient. And to gain courage, as I said, and I'm going to keep on saying, is you need to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Because that is the only way you're going to gain that courage to be the best version of yourself you can possibly be. The last area of focus for this video will be some top tips from our guests. So our first top tip is to dream big. To never give up on your ideas. Even if you think they're not good ideas at first, your ideas can develop over time into something great. Like Atif. Maybe his idea wasn't what it is now, but it flourished and he has been really successful. Second tip is to buy a notebook. I have mine right here. Having a notebook allows you to jot down your ideas and explore them even more to see how they can grow and flourish and to become, like you, the best version of themselves. So with a notebook, you can really see your thought process over time and really see how the idea has evolved. Our third tip is reading. Reading is truly essential for learning and for you to be more informed of things. So 2 books our guests suggested were The Mom Test and The Lean Startup. So really take those with you and search them up, or if you have any other books, focus on those, because reading on anything will be good for you, because the more you know, the more you can apply that knowledge, and the more you can, again, develop those problem-solving skills. And the last one, and I know it's a bit strict right now with the whole situation we're in, and because we're also not at an age where we can do it by ourselves, is travel. Travel is truly, truly essential. Traveling, not only, again, does it put you in an uncomfortable situation, but you learn more about different cultures and how they work. And it allows you to see the differentiation between your culture and someone else's. And it really broadens your perspective of how the whole world is truly connected. So that is the recap of the industry interviews part 1. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much.